background, and we might kick off soon. Actually, let's kick off now and people can join. We are recording. That's where we're at. Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Cameron, and I help lead the Salesforce Marketing Cloud Developer Group. Today, we're really lucky to have, let me just get the screen there, Salesforce Marketing Cloud app development, go live hurdles, and other important considerations with Mounir Nejjai.
Thank you.
And the reason that we're running this session is about 6 weeks ago we had a larger Marketing Cloud app session, which was really about tips, tricks, and considerations. And we felt that it was important to run 2 more sessions. So this is the second session of 3. So you can find that original recording on YouTube. We'll certainly post it with the notes for this video. And there's another event coming up in about 4 weeks' time, which will be all about Q&A. And we'll do some more deep dive in there as well. So these events are just good background information for people trying to get started. You did see a QR code a few moments ago, and I'll just get that back up on the screen. We'll share that at Q&A as well. And that's just where we're encouraging people to put their thoughts, comments, tips, questions about Salesforce Marketing Cloud app. We'll do a bit of a graphic, an infographic around what people share there after we've done the 3 events. I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and it's over to you.
Okay, just.
I'm also going to stop sharing my video too, because you don't need to see my mug.
Great. So I'm going to share my screen.
Just
well.
All right, yeah, we're ready to go. Cool.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm just gonna start about before sharing my screen, just what I do and what I've done, why we're talking about this today. So I'm Mounir. I'm the founder of Cesium, and Cesium, we are a Salesforce ISV partner. We launched our 4th app on the App Exchange a couple of months ago. And so we're getting used to security reviews and go live hurdles. And actually, last time we kind of saw our app, saw different apps, how to build your first app. But yeah, there are some things you need to know if you want to launch an app exchange, something that you need to prepare. And well, I think some documentation is missing. Um, it's hard to find documentation. It's hard to find where the information is. And even if you talk to Salesforce, maybe you won't have the right level of information because there are very few marketing cloud apps on the App Exchange. So that's the reason for this session, and maybe also so that people can feel free to reach out if they have an idea or they have some struggles. We can help them. And when I say we, I think I can talk for myself and other marketing cloud ISV founders. We're all very helpful when it comes to welcome another member in the family. I mean, um, uh, nearly 2 years ago, I was the new guy, and they all helped me. So now I feel like I have to do it myself. So let's get back to my last app and why we're talking about hurdles with that last app. Um, so my last app basically is an app that allows you to match your first-party data, which is stored in Salesforce Marketing Cloud, with a TikTok API so that you can retarget your customers in their TikTok feed. So it's for advertising purpose. Pretty much like Marketing Cloud advertising, there are a few differences in the features and the way it's done, but the the product is quite alike. It's just the social platform that is used that is specific. It's TikTok, and it's not covered by Marketing Cloud advertising. This app is specific because it's a link between two, I'd say, two companies. One, a software vendor, which is Salesforce and which is American, and a social network, which is Chinese, and it's TikTok. And there are some political issues at the moment. So we faced some issues that we didn't face with our three first products that went through the publishing process. So now I'm just gonna share my screen. Maybe I can show you the app at the end if you're interested. It's not about um, the app today. So do you see my slides?
Absolutely, we can see the slide there now.
Okay,
And we
great.
are looking forward to seeing the app too. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, um, thank you. So yeah, I wanted to begin with some key considerations. The first one is really important. I mean, you don't need to be on the App Exchange to sell your app. You can create an app about Salesforce Marketing Cloud and sell it directly to customers without publishing it on the App Exchange. It's not mandatory, and actually, I know a lot of people and companies that did develop apps and sell them to customers without Salesforce knowledge or without a public listing on the App Exchange. So why do you publish an app on the App Exchange? First thing, um, for us, it's a must. And it has also to do with how you planning to sell your product. Just to come back to trust, um, there's some kind of buying. When people buy Salesforce, they buy this trust value that Salesforce um, kind of describing every solution. It's how they deal with customer data, how they secure it, etc. So when you're on the App Exchange and you pass security review, your customer knows that you don't bring security issues to the Salesforce platform, and that can be important. Depends on your product, but for the last product that we published, I mean, we're exchanging data between Salesforce and TikTok. This trust topic is really important. So that's the first reason why we published this app on the App Exchange. The second one can be is related to the way you're going to sell your product and using Salesforce as a sales machine, as a business partner to sell your products. I'm just going to explain this right after. Just if you want to publish something on the App Exchange, you'll need to be a Salesforce partner and go through, every Salesforce partner company due diligence. It can be a bit long, but it's not really hard, uh, not that hard, and may cost you a bit of money. Once you're a partner, you can go in and publish on the App Exchange. So, about sales with Salesforce, to start with this. When you sell something with Salesforce on the App Exchange, and it's a paid app, there's revenue sharing with Salesforce. Basically, they take 15% of what you sell on the App Exchange. So what happens to that 15% is that the account executive in charge of the customer will see these 15% appear in his ACV. So it can be a good news for him, and he can help you sell the product, but it depends on the amount. Sometimes I see some companies, some software vendors, some companies just launching apps and with low prices and thinking that the account executive will do the effort and try and sell them to their customer, but don't make it a money topic. I mean, if you do the math, if your app costs, as I write here, 10K per year, the account executive will add 1.5K to their ACV. And finally, they'll get 10% of this. So $150 in their pocket, roughly. They probably won't make an effort for $150. So that keep that in mind. If you want to rely on Salesforce to sell your product proactively, the ACV amount shall be high enough so that they will produce the needed effort. Um, so don't make it about the money, make it about added value. I mean, I have some account executives in Salesforce that can push some of my products that are nearly free, I can say, compared to Salesforce products. I mean, really cheap, and um, and they would do it because they're just adding features and responding to pain points with their customer. So what you're doing here is that you can use Salesforce to extend your sales team, but focus on what value you're adding. Treat them like customers. I mean, treat each account executive as a customer. Put them in an acquisition funnel, nurture them, explain to them the value of your product, and eventually, if if your product answers one of their customers' pain, they will just push it naturally. But don't focus on if you sell 10 of my products with me, you'll get, I don't know, $1,000. It doesn't address them because the products they're already paid to sell, they make much more money on this. So once we talked about sales, uh, let's go back to the public listing because it comes up. It's just a listing. At the end of the day, it's just a listing on the app exchange. So when you create your application, your software, now it's ready. Now you want to push. You want to publish it. So you go to the app exchange as partner and you start creating your list. First step, you're gonna fill in the basics. Uh, the name, description, required products. Now you need advertising studio, you need social studio, you need marketing cloud, you need journey builder, etc. The editions, the industries, the languages. Uh, and then you're going to talk about pricing. Pricing has an impact here because uh, it's at the pricing level that you decide if your product will be paid or free. If the product is going to be free and is meant to remain free, the security review will be free of charge. It will cost you nothing. Uh, but if it's paid, you'll have to pay for the security review. I will just talk about this right after. But once you fill in the basics and the pricing and basically the economic model of your app and what it does to who, um, you reach the business approval step. So at this step, uh, you gave Salesforce all the information about what your app does and how you're going to sell it and what added value it's supposed to bring. And they're just supposed to issue a contract that you will receive um, to, to document your contract with them about what's the app and why you should put it on the app exchange. This step usually is pretty fast, but in with our last app for TikTok ads, uh, we had to go through some extra steps. I mean, the three first apps that we published and went through the app exchange process, it was vouchers, which is a coupon code management solution, calendars, which helps you deal with the events and add dynamic countdowns, and memes to put memes in your emails. And for these three, we had no issue at all with business approval. It just went through like it was nothing. For TikTok ads, we had to do 2 or 3 meetings with solution engineers in the ISV team at Salesforce to explain how data flows between Salesforce, between our environments, and between TikTok accounts, how it goes, how it comes back, what is hashed, what is not hashed, etc. So depending on what your app is doing, it can be fast or it can be complicated. Another thing I should tell you at this step, you should know who is your partner account manager. I mean, if you're planning to launch an app on the App Exchange, go through Salesforce meetings. They organize meetings every year at least, depending on countries, it can be 2 or 3, but at least one a year to recruit new ISVs. So there are informational meetings, I mean, meetings just to know what is the App Exchange, etc. You should go there so that you meet the ISV team, so that you know some partner account managers. Because if you have any problem at this step with business approval, you'll need to have somebody to reach out to. And you won't have on the App Exchange any other option than raising a case. And we all know these times how long cases can take. So that's the first part of the listing, and then there's the second part. The second part of the listing is about the SEO title. I mean, what's the title of your listing in the App Exchange, the visuals, the demos, the highlight, all the text that you will gonna that you're gonna put there, and all the visuals. My advice about this would be to prepare everything early. Go to Canva, Figma, anything. Prepare visuals. You will throw the first that you do, but anyway, just prepare because it takes time, and you need to take this time to know what you're going through. For the SEO title, do not hesitate to change it on a regular basis. I'd say like every 3 weeks, just at the beginning to test and learn what works. There are 4,000, yeah, maybe 4,000 apps, or no, 8,000 apps on the App Exchange. If you want people to find yours, you have to name it correctly. And, uh, and after the details, there is the link your solution part. And in other words, that's the security review. We're all talking about security review when it comes to publishing an app exchange because it's the critical part of the listing. It's also the part of the listing that you're paying, in fact. So we're all focusing on this. It's just a step in the listing, but it's the one that we're all focusing about. So what is it? What is a security review? So before you can publicly list your managed package, um, whatever it is, but for Marketing Cloud, it's an API solution, it must pass a security review. And this security review is composed of tests to know if your solution uh, add some brings some weaknesses to the Salesforce platform, and to see how you protect customer data, if you hash it, if it's secured, etc., etc. So that's what it is. Now, how do you prepare and how do you have a successful security review? So I put a link here to a trail in Trailhead about ISV security reviews. I think everybody should follow this one, whatever the app is, API only or core app or whatever, because that's where you learn what they're looking for. Second thing that you have to do early, and honestly, you should do this while developing the product. It's a huge time saver to do it while you're developing your product. It's preparing documentation for security review. So two documents are important. The first one is the solution documentation with presentation of your solution. The package components, I will talk about the package components just after. Um, in our case, with TikTok ads, those were the blocks that we had. We had the presentation, the package component, the authentication flow, um, which was demonstrated in the last session, by the way, and the TikTok authentication flow and all the components created in Salesforce Marketing Cloud by our app. Meaning in our case, it was automations, folders of data extensions and the data extensions, and every data touch point with the calls made and the answers. So that's the solution documentation and also a user guide. The user guide is is a document that is very it's not they don't ask for it formally, but you know those people that are going to test your solution, they don't know what it does and how it does it and what it's for. So and and most of the time for some cases they don't even know what's what's sending an email about. So um, if you want to help them, um, prepare a detailed user guide. If you prepare a detailed user guide, you help them understand your app really quick. So so that's not something that is compulsory, but it will help them a lot. And if you help them, it can help you. I'm just gonna drop back. I heard some noise on the chat. Okay, so I'm gonna answer you him later. So Nilesh is asking about yeah, about passing a second security review. Yeah, I was gonna talk about this. You pay the security review each time um, you submit a solution. So um, you should prepare for the security review. Well, in a way that you're sure to pass it the first time. And that's why I told you create a user guide, because you want the people that will test your app to be nice to you. What I'm meaning is that you could have um, you could have some vulnerabilities in your app. If you've been nice to them, they don't talk a lot with you, they don't send you a lot of emails, but if you help them, they could send you an email and tell you, well, we saw this, can you correct it quickly so that we don't, so that we can test it again before closing the security review. It happened to us on two of our apps. So um, what happened is that we saw their test and we saw that we failed the test because we saw some JavaScript uh, things on the screen that we didn't like. And so we corrected it instantly and we reached out to them and because they reached out to us and basically you're trying to communicate with the team that is going to test your app. So create a user guide, help them use your app so that you have a way to reach out to them before the end of the security review. When you pass security review, if you don't pass it, yeah, you'll have to pay again to pass it. But even if you pass it, if you change the components of your app, you could have to pass a security review again. And that's why um, I wanted to talk about the package that you're submitting. When you create an app that you're going to push on the App Exchange, uh, you create a package with components. So I put a screenshot here of the components you can use in an app. So you have the API integration, the Marketing Cloud app, Journey Builder activity, etc. You can have an app with 2 or 3 custom content blocks, 2 Journey Builder entry sources, etc. So about this, what I like to do is something my CTO doesn't like. But anyway, um, I like to map every possible use case that I would like to see in the app in the future. And then we would map every data flow and we would create the package with all the possible components, even if there's nothing behind them in the beginning. So in a way, we're cheating because in a way, for some components, we make them go through security review with some kind of fake use case because we know we're going to use this component later. We haven't developed the full feature yet, but we don't want to go through security review again and have again those 2 3 months of security review or um, or waste time. So that's something that we do now. When we're about to pass security review, we check the components that we're pushing that we have in the package, and maybe try and add others. If we think that we're gonna use them, we don't just add components like this, but we think of it to avoid paying again a security review. By the way, just so that I didn't put the price of a security review, it's $999, non-refundable. So, yeah. And by the way, also it became cheaper since 4 months now. Before it was nearly $3,000 for the security review, and there was a yearly security review on all published app of $150. So now it's just a one-off $1,000, 999. So about the time frame, they communicate around 3 months for the time frame for publishing an app. So from the moment you create the listing and you submit the first business approval to going through security review and passing security review. For my first apps, the 2 first apps, we had like 3 months just for the security review. I'm not talking about business approval. For the last one, we nearly spent, we lost 1 month on business approval. We had to escalate. So the time frame is not something that is fixed. It will vary. I know that you're talking to Anthony Zupancic next month. I know that he struggled with his spam. Um, Luckily, I know I have a partner account manager. I know some people in the ISV team that could help me accelerate uh, time. Another thing that is very helpful, and it's the thing that will help you the most if you want to go fast for publishing your listing, is to have a paying client waiting for your app. If you bring a big customer, I mean more big for Salesforce, so more than 10K a year, dollars a year, um, and you tell them, well, I need to pass security review to sign the customer. They can speed up things. You'll go through security review as usual. They won't just retrieve it, but uh, I mean you'll be top of the list. Another thing to keep in mind, you can't do that more than once a year. So, and you'd better have a real customer. So once you've done all this, uh, you can prepare for your go live. So you don't want to miss your go live. I mean, eh, we are marketers, and as marketers, launches are important. So you gotta know your ICP. You gotta know who is gonna support your launch. You gotta choose the right moment. I mean, if you're launching during Dreamforce, you're gonna be drowned under new announcements. If you launch in the summer, nobody will see you. So you gotta choose your moment really carefully, and keep in mind that um, Salesforce has a big seasonality in their business. So they sign most of their deals in the fourth quarter, so between November and the end of January. So that's the hot period for them. So if you want to work with them on the go-to-market, they better know your app before that quarter. So you better launch in September. Uh, their second quarter, in terms of how many deals they get, is Q2. So the one that is finishing at the end of July. So again, if you want to work with them on Q2, you have to prepare with them in April or late March. And so that's for the moment. I say be clear. Um, I see a lot of ISVs with with some launching with catchphrases like um, automating Salesforce Marketing Cloud journeys, or I mean, if I say I'm automating Marketing Cloud journeys, I'm not saying anything. And when you're launching your first app, I'm not talking about when your app is well known and everybody knows what it does, and you have a big customer base. But when you're launching, you need your customer to know exactly what you do, on which cloud you do it. And believe me, on the App Exchange, if you don't specify in the title of your listing that you're a Marketing Cloud app, you'll get like 95% of your inbound leads on the App Exchange that will ask you for a core app. I mean, sales of service. So be crystal clear. It's a Marketing Cloud app. It It's a content block, it's a custom activity, it's a connector between this app and this platform, it's audience matching. I don't know, but be crystal clear what you're doing. It's a query builder, be clear. The second thing is create a lead capturing machine. I mean, even a landing page, but do something where you can capture leads because the app exchange these days doesn't work very well. Um, I mean, I don't get all the leads that click the app. I don't get the the right email. Sometimes I get the Trailblazer email. Sometimes I don't get any opt-in to reach out to the person that clicked the button. So and sometimes I just don't receive it. I even so they're working a lot on the app exchange this year, but I even saw customers disappear from my Salesforce. So uh, build your own lead capture landing page and just promote it. And talking about reach, I used Salesforce Ben for my last launch, and I think for a new brand or a new product, it's the better reach you could have within the Salesforce community. So I think I showed you, I told you everything I want to tell you about the security review and the app launching. Stop sharing my screen. And so, pen testing. Yeah, you can now use a freemium pricing model. It's new. They launched it last month. Um, I don't know about the freemium model. To be honest, now that I have 4 apps on the App Exchange, I have apps that start at $19 per month per business unit, and I have apps that I can sell for $1,000 per month. So and for the and I also and for the app that starts at $19 per month, we also had 14 days trial. But we're selling SFMC apps. So what I noticed is that I'm going through security reviews with every company because it's marketing cloud, it's customer data. So whether free or not free, I'm spending 2, 3 meetings each time. And for the free trial, um, well, 3 times out of 4, what happens is that the company uses one of my apps for a single one-shot campaign in which they want to use the feature. So they will use the trial for this and they won't buy the product. So I saw the freemium model coming. Yeah, it could be a good idea, but if you consider that customer data is becoming very sensitive and everybody's checking about it, you're gonna waste a lot of time, so a lot of money through security, whether your app is free or not. So you'd better have a paying customer. I prefer a paid trial that than but I don't. I'm not sure. I think Deselect is experimenting the freemium model on one of their app, but I don't know if it's working or not. So
I know outside the marketing cloud environment more generally, our freemium models are good models because they do give devs the opportunity to test. But you talk about that hurdle, that security test hurdle. So there's not just money, but time and time. Yeah,
yeah,
just that the amount of money is actually pretty small, but it's your time by the sounds of it getting it organized.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not that small because I have some enterprise level companies that are that we're working with for the TikTok app. So there's a big part about security. Even if you go through Salesforce security review, you go again through security reviews, talking about certifications and everything. but it's a yearly audit. I mean, I'm gonna spend time this year, and I'm gonna spend time next year too. So you have to consider this cost and on a recurring basis also. So, and even for I mean, one of our apps, calendars, we made the choice to store no data from Marketing Cloud. We don't know where you use the content block. We don't know how many times you use it, in, in what email you use it, etc., etc. So that we could tell the customer we don't store any of your data, no security issue. And what we saw is that we have to prove it. And the second thing is that when there is a bug, because you always have bugs, uh, we see nothing. So we have to ask them more questions, to have logs, extra, and to try to repeat the issue. So, well, free. I think you have the minimum price that you should apply. Whatever the app is, should cover at least like 3 or 4 annual meetings, 1 hour, and then you have the hosting and the dev time, etc. But you have to think about this.
Yeah.
So uh, just about the question about that he asked about lookalike audiences. So yeah, there is a lookalike feature in TikTok for Business. So we didn't implement it in the app for now. So what you can do now is match an audience with TikTok using our app, and then on the TikTok side, use it to create a lookalike audience for advertising. And but it's in our roadmap. I mean, this week we're really first release post go live. So we're adding lead capture to our app and a couple of features like global suppressions, which, by the way, is not a feature that is in Marketing Cloud advertising. And so we're adding it and a notification system to know when your audience is matched by the network extra. Then we'll work on lookalikes from the app. But there's a workaround for now. And yeah, the hurdles for becoming an Salesforce ISV. So we're in a particular case because we were first a consulting partner, so we didn't have to go through due deal again. You're a partner, well, you don't necessarily know it, but once you're a consulting partner, or whatever partner, you can just become the other types of partners without going through any other review or paying any extra money. You just have to reach out to the right person at Salesforce and extend your partnership. Um, but becoming an ISV partner is not really complicated. I mean, it's like when you're a consulting partner, you need two consultant level certifications, and I mean that's pretty much all. You need to be a company registered and be willing to fill all the Salesforce documentation, which is quite long, but that's all. Yeah, and I know people that became partners and they're solopreneurs, so you can do it. High scale performance for enterprise class customer usage. Well, depends on your app, Kozo, and what you're gonna do with it. We um, we have different kind of apps. I mean, the app called Voucher for coupon code management, we can generate coupons on a high scale, but it remains just a table, so it's not really complicated. We created a complete query builder using BigQuery on Google Cloud Platform, for another one of our apps. And yeah, we had to consider high scale performance, but it's a choice. I mean, we created the query builder, that's a feature, and we chose to perform queries in GCP. But if you take deselect, they created the query builder, but they performed the query in Marketing Cloud. So in this case, it's just UI, UX, or whatever you can name it, but they're not really impacted by your volumes or things like this. So it depends how you conceive your app. It's Marketing Cloud is not that performant for complex queries, so we prefer to use Google Cloud Platform, and it's not that expensive. According to my CTO, it's less expensive than Amazon, so it's still
I'm
not
going to
too
guess the same rules apply if you're building an app inside Marketing Cloud that's not exposed externally. You've got latency of systems that you're calling. You may need to set up queues to get stuff done. And like you say, it's really about the complexity and how much the app is doing and how many external services it's calling and how quickly it needs to do those at scale. So yeah, it's a big question almost.
Mhm.
How to architect and the considerations around architecting an app. We could have another session on that one, I'm sure.
Of
But
course.
they're good. They're fun discussions. Those, yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of discussions. I mean, you never know if you made the right choice. I mean, at first we went on Google, for example, and at that moment it was still the SFTP, and it was still and AW Amazon S3 buckets were coming in the way. Like, maybe Google will come to. Did we do the right choice? So you never know, but well,
If I
sometimes it
if
happens.
I was building something out at the moment that needed to scale, I'm really impressed with what Cloudflare serverless workers are doing and the queues that they've got built into that platform, and that stuff really does scale. But it all is stateless. Yeah, there's a whole lot of considerations around how you make those calls. Well, there is state that you can keep there in the queue management and the database systems, but yeah, there are options there. But I think that'd be fun to have a look at too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you have just a last thing that I just I just thought about it. I mean, when we launched our first apps, we did some what I call consultant mistakes. I mean, you try to optimize your app. So what happened is that we would create data extensions in the client marketing cloud instance and automations to refresh them, etc., etc. And we would have a lot of data on the client side. But when you have a subscription model, I mean, when you're billing based on volumes, you can't have those volumes stored within your customer and have them. I mean, if you see how roles and permissions are dealt with in Marketing Cloud, they could just erase like half the records and say, well, we never used more than this. You can you can't let this kind of issues. So your billing information should be stored within your systems, and that's something that we didn't think through at first, and at first we were like, yeah, we optimized all performance and storage. And wait, no.
I once had a client enterprise account, and they thought, wouldn't it be a good idea just to rename all the fields in the table? Uh, Everything
Yeah,
stopped.
yeah,
Why did it
something
break?
like
Why did
this.
it break? And yeah, you can get into Marketing Cloud and do stuff like that. So you can't always rely on what's there. You got to know. You got to be able to. That comes back to that trust. Where do you trust the data? where is it really secure? But it feels like the TikTok app's more of a bridge. So it's a bridge between Marketing Cloud and TikTok. It's mapping the APIs and passing them through, but it sounds like there's a little bit more going on in the background there too, in terms of
Yeah,
state.
yeah. Well, the TikTok app is it's not just a bridge because you can create you can create your audiences. So you're gonna pick data from Marketing Cloud and create your audience, push it to TikTok or use it in journeys, or use journeys to add to this audience, etc. So that's the first, I'd say that's the Marketing Cloud advertising like app. And what we're working on is um, basically what we saw is that um, uh, perform digital performance teams would um, would use Marketing Cloud to get custom audiences created, but they're the real user. So they're not Marketing Cloud users, and they just don't have the app. And so we're working on new logins for external people that will not be users of Marketing Cloud, and that would be the performance team working with advertising. And we're working on other connections, other bridges, but on the content part. I mean, when you're creating an ad campaign, it's composed of an audience and visuals. So we're working on connecting Canva, Figma, and Binder, um, digital asset managers, so that in the same app you could have people pushing content and just people creating campaigns with, well, I'll take this audience and I'll take this video and I'll put a budget here and just launch everything through the API, but from a control room. I mean, an advertising control room. So that's the target app, and
So it's
we're starting with
orchestration.
the
Yeah, no, I
sorry.
was just going to say it's the orchestration of everything there. There's a lot of
Yeah.
yeah,
It's ad marketing automation. It's just marketing automation, but for ads. And yeah, we're working on this, and we have, yeah. Luckily, it's the right time for this now because I mean, cookies are set to disappear, and yes, Salesforce is the right ecosystem to start. So yes, it's quite interesting. Last consideration can assess for, and that's because the last sentence I said, you have to choose from the beginning if your app is going to be 100% relying on Salesforce. You could build an app that connects to Marketing Cloud, and maybe that's better for you than an app that needs Marketing Cloud to work in any case. I'm saying this because we're seeing Marketing GPT coming, and it's not on top of Salesforce Marketing Cloud engagement. It's on top of Data Cloud. It's a whole other technology. Um, so you can say that people won't evolve from Salesforce Marketing Cloud to Marketing GPT like a lightning migration. It's something else. It's a product change. So if your app only works with Salesforce Marketing Cloud engagement, you could have some. We don't know where companies will head up, but anyway, the the market could move also, and you could also use other rising platforms to secure your customers. I mean, we're all working with Salesforce, that's good, but if your feature is really an added value and you want to move from Salesforce Marketing Cloud to Braze, for example, and you can keep my app maybe it's better for me as a software vendor. And I don't know if you saw this, but Sales Wings is now working with Braze and with Segment, and yeah, they're bringing added value, and it's now agnostic. So the customer can be frustrated with Marketing Cloud for different reasons, but keep their app. And maybe you want this because as software vendor, you want recurring revenue and stickiness. So,
No, no,
so but
that's
you
a
should
given. Yep.
think about it in the beginning. Yeah.
I think I was going to say it, and I thought I won't say it, but yeah, we just don't know where we're going to be based on everything we're seeing in the marketplace, especially with generative chat that's come about this year, and what that means for apps. We're really just at the beginning of that process of leading right into that and discovering what it's going to do for us. So I think the landscape in 5 years' time is going to look very different.
Yeah,
Personally. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Same, but different. Different. It'll be
Well,
slightly.
I don't know, man. If you tell people to move from Salesforce Marketing Cloud to Marketing GPT, they might consider moving also to other non-Salesforce technologies. So, well, they're making.
Yep. Yep. Thank you so much. Is there any other questions on
Thank
the
you.
chat before we close off? I know we're on the hour, but I think we've covered everything there. We did have a small group join us today. This will be recorded. It has been recorded and it will be up on the YouTube just as soon as we can, and we'll share it with the entire group. Thank you so much. We've got another session coming up, which is Q&A. So if there's any more
Thank you.
questions in August next month, so if there's any more questions, please just reach out. I'm sure you can. Are you able to join us again for Q&A in August, or if you
I'm
can?
not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure I'll have any internet the place I'm going. So
Oh no,
maybe.
it's okay. But we'll make sure you get those questions early so you can answer them offline with a video
Okay.
maybe. But thank you so much for your support on
Thank you.
this topic.
Thank you for this, and thank everybody that came here.
Right, bye.
See you. Bye. Bye.